England 3-2 over Spain in Seville. The possession numbers tell you Spain had a majority of the ball and maybe a majority of the chances, but England were up 3-0 at the half. Craig, this was simply put a shocker.
That was great from England's point of view. John and I saw them against Croatia, and they were the better side, but Marcus Rashford in particular missed a couple of really easy chances, and then they hit the framework with a couple of other headers. But here it was less possession and just clinical. You know, Harry Kane for Tottenham this year has been dropping a bit deeper, and you guys have questioned that. But Lucas Moura's been making those runs in behind, and we know Kane is a good passer of the ball, and he was just allowed on 2 or 3 occasions to drop off of Nacho and Sergio Ramos and get turned, and then he had runners from Rashford and Sterling, and then it's down to the finishing. And Sterling has been criticised. I think it was 2 goals in 40-odd games up to this. He's now doubled that. And Marcus Rashford, obviously, with a great finish as well. So I just thought, in terms of a smash and grab first half, of clinical counter-attacking, from England point of view, it was excellent.
What you saw from Spain, though, is a team that initially had England hanging on. They had possession, they were controlling the game, they were creating opportunities, they were comfortable in the possession of the ball, but then they just forget about defending. They fall in love so much with the possession, they fall in love with attacking, that they forget about basic stuff defensively. And yes, these 3 guys, Rashford, Sterling and Kane, they created issues for Spain, but it comes from plays that you have to be able to avoid. If you're Nacho, you stay tight on Kane. He doesn't. He allows Kane to turn, and then he can find a pass. We also saw that Spain struggles with speed, and that's the case for Real Madrid, that's the case for Barcelona, and then you see it with the national team as well. Because they're pushed so high, because they have possession of the ball in higher areas of the field, there is space in behind. And when you have the speed of Sterling and the speed of Rashford, these guys just can't keep up. Nacho can't keep up. Sergio Ramos cannot keep up. They get in behind. England was very good on the counter. However, it must also be said that early on in the second half, when it's 3-1, and Pickford loses the ball to Rodrigo, he should have been sent off, and it should have been a penalty kick. 100%, there's no question about that. Maybe that changes the game, but it doesn't take away the struggles for Spain defensively and what England did well on the field.
John, give us the English perspective here. Certainly, you must have faith in the 3 lions, but you didn't see this coming.
No, I didn't see this coming. This is a revelatory result, really. It's the sort you look at and think, is that a misprint? It was a real sit-up-and-take-notice outcome for the rest of Europe. And I'm pleasantly surprised. I'm also quite pleased for Gareth Southgate, who's been telling us that these young players, that some of us have questioned whether they're ready for a chance. You know, he had 6 uncapped players in his squad for these games against Croatia and Spain, and a smattering of those have now got a taste and have shown that they can produce. I just think if that's a glimpse of the future, it's an exciting future. And I was just beginning to wonder whether there was a little bit too much hype around the World Cup, because after all, you look at the World Cup with England, yeah, there was a lot of enthusiasm and they had some decent results, but the draw opened up in that competition in a way that no draw will ever open up in a team's favour again in such a dramatic way. So I took away from the World Cup the fact that whenever they'd met decent opposition, they'd lost. Once against Croatia, twice against Belgium. Here, they've met a side who've been absolutely tip-top of late, and I accept the shortcomings that Ali has identified in Spain's performance today, but we're dealing with one of Europe's very top elite sides, and England have done a job on them, and fairly spectacularly. So, I mean, unfortunately, back home in England, this will now elicit a wave of over-the-top optimism, because that, I'm afraid, is
coming home
of our natural condition.
Coming home.
So that's what's going to happen next. Well, but somewhere between that over-the-top optimism and, if you like, my cynicism, I think lies the truth. And the truth is they've had a very good day.